Hey everybody, welcome,
Hey, everybody, welcome.
welcome, 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 welcome. We have Kanisha, our daughter Kanisha on the line, daughter
Yes, yes,
Michelle, daughter
yes,
Tata, all my wonderful daughters, and it's good to see all of you. And there go Tiana, another one of our daughters,
yes,
and all
yes,
of
yes,
you
yes.
out here. Hey, brother Law, amen. Good to see
Hey,
you.
share,
What's
share,
up, my
share.
man Law? Yes, yes, yes. Like, share, share, love, love. Y'all know what to do on the good old Tuesday night. That's how we say it around. We used to say it in the good old DC.
Go ahead, boo.
Go ahead and share it on the good old live. Get on the good old live. You know
On
what
a
I'm
good
saying?
old lie. Go
On
ahead,
the good
Dad.
old live.
Go
Share and like and love. You know what to do. Y'all know how y'all do. Do what you do. Make it do what it do.
all of it.
All love it. Hey, look, tonight is going to be a really interesting topic.
For sure.
Um, uh colorism and dating, um and what is it, what does it mean, colorism, the isms, right? The
Go
isms,
ahead. The
I
isms.
call it the isms. Hey Cavante, hey my son Cavante. But yeah, so we're gonna deal with this isms, the light skin versus the dark skin versus the brown skin, all of the verses, the verses,
Go ahead, the
the,
verses. Go
the
ahead.
verses.
Go ahead, the verses.
Man, it's really not a laughing matter. I'm kind of tongue in cheek a little bit. But let's have a real discussion. Let's have a real discussion
Okay, okay.
about um, the colorism in dating.
Ah,
So um I can get I can't get into science. I can meddle around in science a little bit.
we want to get into science.
You don't get into
That-
science,
that's what we
and
wanna
then,
get-
and when I talk about science, I'm talking about like the
Oh,
studies that
okay.
have been done,
Yes.
as it relates to hey, Apostle Benson,
Apostle
hey,
Benson. Hey there.
son.
Yes, yes, yes. So
Um,
yeah, so we can, I mean, we can take colorism from slavery. We can talk about colorism within minority groups. So within different minority groups, you find colorism. It's not just black people, just in case you didn't know, but there's colorism also with other minority groups. Latinas. There is I know Dominicans that have big colorism in those groups as well. And so colorism is not just as we think about it as African Americans, not just faced with us, but it also goes in a lot of minority groups. And I think there, as we're going to talk about tonight, that there is a connection in dating with colorism as well. That we see a lot of athletes, movie stars, actors who practice colorism, who talk about, having fair skinned women or just straight up do not want black women at all. They would prefer white women. There's also a thing that just came out about our new Justice Katanji. Okay, that's how I gotta say it. When I do like that, I gotta do like this. Justice Katanji, and also our Vice President Kamala. Both are married to white men, and there are actual articles that state currently in our day that maybe because they are powerful, educated women, maybe they need white men. Okay, as y'all can hear the studio audience. I don't know if you can hear the studio audience is here tonight. I don't know if you can hear them. There was a big sigh at that moment. But there is a conversation that is happening in minority groups about colorism, even going over into different races. And I think it's important for us to have this conversation because there are a lot of stereotypical discriminatory statements being made about people of color, minority groups, and our ability to handle our same group if there is power or other dynamics at work.
Yeah, I seen, after Katanji was nominated, not after she nominated, but after she was
Confirmed.
confirmed as the next justice. I did see, posts about, um it would not have happened if she would have had a black husband, right?
That's what they said, you guys.
Yeah. And so, yeah, so I'm ready to dig into that, and
Let's
I'm
get
ready
in
to
it.
dig, and honestly, I'm ready to dig into it from from a perspective, from the different perspectives, and even a little bit, about my family a little bit.
Okay, let's
And
start with same race then, Pastor.
okay,
Let's start with
yeah,
same race. Race.
good.
So,
But
oh, go
yeah,
ahead.
go ahead. No, go
I
ahead.
was just going to start the conversation by saying that I have dealt with colorism most of my life. As it relates to my family, I am darker skinned, and as I grew up in segregation time, so they bused me and my neighborhood to a neighborhood that was predominantly white. The school was predominantly white at that time. It was integration, or I guess it was segregation, but it was integration at that time that was happening. And so colorism became a big thing because I had cousins who they called light skin.
But now,
Okay?
hold on, let me explain. Like, this is way after Brown versus Board of Education. We're talking about the '80s,
1980s,
where
y'all.
they were still busing kids past the age kids in
Me,
PG
y'all,
County.
in the 80s.
They were still busing the black kids into white neighborhoods.
1982 to be exact, I believe is when I went to kindergarten. 1982, you guys. And so anytime there's a distinction made between light skin and dark skin, you are dealing with colorism. Okay? Because nobody is light skinned or dark skinned. You have skin. Okay? So light skin, the actual phrase light skin and dark skin is colorism. It's assigning color to someone who is a person that has skin. Okay? You're not in reality light skin or dark skin. You are a human that has skin. So I dealt with this a lot from a child on, about being teased for being darker skinned, but also with dating. When I was in middle school, okay, hey y'all, have y'all out there, all my Greenbelt middle schoolers, hey guys. So I once was I liked this guy, and there was an actual conversation, y'all, at lunchtime about if he was going to date or be with, I don't know what we said back then because it wasn't really called dating. He was going to go out with me, a dark skinned person, or another girl that was light skinned. And we were both friends with this guy. And that was the question that was asked. Not if he liked one of us, if he was going to go out with the light skin or the dark skin one. Colorism. And I think that continues, Pastor Will, beyond, childhood or teenage. I think that continues.
Well, in my dating years,
Ah, go
there,
ahead, tell about it.
it was, it was like, oh, so the light skinned guys are in and the dark skinned guys are out, right?
You kind of perpetuated that a little bit too, though, Pastor Will, because you like light skinned girls, or what they used to call back in the day, red bone.
And that's the science part of it. That's the science. That's the
What's the
science.
side part of it? Tricking yourself.
No,
What?
because when you look at as a child growing up, and you are raised from TV, you raised on TV,
Here we go.
and your family members, they playing with Barbie dolls. The black Barbies wasn't out during when my cousins was growing up. They had white Barbie, and she drove the nice car, and white Ken drove the nice car. They ain't have our black Barbie Brown, driving his car.
That's it. Charlotte, that is it. Yes.
So they have our Whitney, as our role models, or
Right.
of these are symbols of attraction. It was Wonder Woman. You know,
Right. That's
it,
Pastor Will favorite right there, child.
hey, Linda Carter, with the tights on. But those were who they was flashing our face on a daily. And by the time Wonder Woman was coming on, when I was growing up, it was on syndication. It was every day, right? And so, in turn, I believe that's where my desire for fair skinned young ladies came from,
Go
in a
ahead,
way.
Pastor.
And
Charlotte.
it was bad. I was really
Biased.
I was really it was really bad for me. It was really bad.
Biased.
It was really biased. Yeah,
Biased.
yeah.
At the end of the day, that's what colorism is. It's bias. Right? It's more than preference in my opinion. It's discrimination. Right? Think about the difference between personal preference and discrimination.
And I'm saying that it was biased, even though I grew up with beautiful black women all around me.
I'm gonna tell y'all what I told my kids straight up. I said, you better like a woman that look like your mama. That's it. That's it. That's what I told them. That's what I told them from little boys in the elementary. Don't all of these little girls you looking at, all of them better not look like TV. That's the answer. That's it. That's what I said. Bring some more varieties home other than what you see on TV. I don't know, Pastor Will. I'm just saying what I said.
Yeah.
Because you have to be challenged in your thinking. I think that's for any person. You got to be challenged in your thinking about what's acceptable and what's not. Who told you? This is what I ask my kids. Who told you that that's what beauty is? TV, music videos, shake your boom boom. Who told you? The first Black Barbie did not come out till 1980, Will. 1980. That's 2 years after I was born. So you're right. Like, we did not have any of this concept.
Yeah.
We had none of it. So a lot of this exists in same race. We get that. As you just talked about your experience, I really hated colorism, so I never dealt with it from my side. I dated guys that was all skin shades because it just don't make a difference. The ones that was dirty dogs were still dirty dogs. The ones that was nice and great was still nice and great, no matter what their skin color was.
Yeah.
That was just reality. But Pastor Will, let's get into the deeper conversation about Black women and this whole white man and or Black men and white women. Let's get into that conversation.
Okay.
Because what we see is a lot of ideals about if a woman is powerful. Okay, I'm gonna start with the women first. If a woman is powerful, if she's educated, that a Black man is going to be insecure, or a minority man, period, is going to be insecure and will not be able to coexist with this Black woman.
Well, Justice Kantaji, she went to, where she come from, Yale or Princeton? She one of those Ivy
Somebody,
League
yeah,
schools.
she definitely
Somebody,
came from Ivy League.
Ivy League. She's a little older than me, not by much, but a little older than me, which means that she graduated school in the 90s, and came up through the 80s and stuff like that. And I wonder how many Black guys was going to the Ivy League school.
Harvard. She came from Harvard.
Harvard. Okay. And I wonder what was the percentage of her class that was African American.
That's a good question. She had an AB and a JD from there. What's AB?
So
say AB and a JD. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
What,
I'm talking to my resident lawyer. Sorry, guys.
What was
yeah, they got it.
It's almost like, what's the chance of meeting an per se, you know, a Barack Obama or a Cory
Because
Booker,
it happened
who
with
they
Barack
both,
Obama.
yeah, who they both graduated from Princeton and everything. I mean, from Ivy League schools.
Ivy
But
League school.
anyway,
Yeah.
I'm just saying, you know, like a lot of times dating is from proximity, right? And
Yeah.
so I feel like she dated who she was around, and I believe that I think if there was a black man in her proximity during those developmental times of her life, I think she would have been just as successful with him as she would have been with her current husband. Because it's, you know, she did it. She did it. So
So,
and
Pastor, are you saying that you think that there is no truth to sometimes men of color or men of minority races having an issue with women being educated and experienced and powerful, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? Are you saying that that issue does not exist?
I'm not saying that it doesn't exist, but she dated someone that was, I mean, he's a surgeon. So
Yeah,
so she dated someone in the same academic, with the same kind of academic not background, they don't have the same academic background, but with the same kind of academic culture, as far as, you know, going to school, staying in school, getting all the degrees, and, you know, that's what they ascribe to,
I'm just
right?
checking the room. Look.
Yeah.
So is
I
that
mean,
thing, is it classism? I mean, what is it? I'm just trying to figure out
this is, it's not class,
what is it?
it's their social space. They met, they in each other's social space. So I think if she met somebody where there was a black guy in the same, with the same fire for education as she did, whether they was going to become a surgeon or whatever, I think it would have all been all the same.
Maybe, Pastor Will. Maybe.
But she didn't marry just a dude off the street with no education.
Oh, go ahead, Pastor Will.
You know, somebody that's just living to get by. That's
Well,
not who she married.
Pastor Will, it sounds like you are making a distinction there. It sounds like because the room lit up. It sounds like you're making a distinction. You're making a distinction about a type of person for a type of person. That's what I hear you doing. You are making
Absolutely, I am.
Ooh, go. Absolutely, you are.
I mean, like, for me, don't get hooked up with somebody that doesn't have the same, or that's just as ambitious as you are about life.
Go.
Don't. Why? Because if you do, they're going to eventually get jealous about what you're doing.
Oh my gosh. You think so, Pastor?
I think so.
You know, because I will say this. Kamala, her husband is also went to Georgetown Law. Okay, and so you do have, I will agree with that. You do have people of similar backgrounds. The people we're talking about right now are people of similar backgrounds. And so I can see what you're saying, that point that you're making. But basically, what I hear you saying is that Black women need to bring it up some with their expectations. Really? I mean, I'm like this. I don't know. I'm just trying to see if it. I'm reading the room. I'm just asking some questions.
I'm saying that Black men should be just as ambitious about life as their Black woman is.
Yeah. Success, about seeing some success in different areas of their lives.
Right.
Yes. I agree with that. I agree with that.
That's what I'm saying. You know, be hungry about success. Not necessarily about success. Be hungry about achieving the goals that you, first of all, be hungry about having goals that you set out for.
That's it. Having goals for your life.
Having goals for your life, and then be hungry about achieving those goals for your life.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there is a question on the table, is like, is there a shortage of Black men? That's like something that a lot of women are hearing. Is it a shortage? Is it like just black men that now we're in a new wave of like black men just don't want to get married? Like they not interested in marriage. I see that a lot now. Where are we in with the black men? You know, we're talking about colorism and we're talking about, you know, light skin, dark skin, but we also talking about some color dynamics that play out within races. And that's the question, Pastor. Is there a black man shortage?
There's no black man shortage. There's a shortage of there's a shortage of ambition.
A shortage of ambition.
There is an abundance of dreams. You muted. There was
Yeah, I'm muted because I'm waiting for something to happen in my room. Go ahead.
okay, but no, there is an abundance for dreams, but there is a shortage of ambition to see dreams come to pass or to make dreams happen.
So a shortage of ambition and a what? Abundance of dreams.
Abundance of dreams.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, we have a lot of dreams. You know, we want to make this amount of money. We want to sell these shoes and make this amount of money. We want to sell this, sell that. We want to have
this.
we want to do this, we want to do that and have this, but there is a shortage of ambition about, doing all the things that you don't want to do.
Yes.
And that's what it is. You doing the work, the things that you don't want to do
to get what you desire,
to achieve what you desire. And I think, but we see black women doing that. We see them doing the stuff that they really don't want to do, even though they complain about, but that's not my job title. But still, they do it. They still doing it, and they're finding success even when they do those things that they don't want to do.
That's a fact, Pastor. And I think that, one of the things we have to come to in this conversation is, it's like, at what point are you lifting someone up, and at what point are you enabling them? I think that's a question. Like, at what point is it enablement? And I think we see this in a lot of minority races of like, and I see this in different cultures because we have an international ministry, we have a global ministry. So I see this in a lot of different cultures. It's not just America. I see in a lot of cultures where the wife is working and the husband no longer wants to. So, I mean, this is a dynamic that is playing out in different cultures, not just the U.S., just to be clear. Mm-hmm. So I think it's an important conversation that we're having, because when we talk about colorism, certain stereotypes get put on certain races. And I think what we have to do is make sure those stereotypes aren't true.
Yeah.
Okay. If you are a black man, a black woman, or whatever your race is, make sure the conversation that is being had over social media, in the media, is not true about you. Right? Like, to defeat colorism or to defeat whatever the things are, you have to be willing to show up differently. Right? I had my middle school principal tell me that I was going to end up pregnant before I got out of high school. I was going to be a dropout. I wasn't going to ever make it through high school because of how she viewed me as a black girl. I was not a woman. I was a girl. The way she viewed me as a black girl. I was always energetic, always running my mouth. That is it. And now I get paid to do so. Right? And so I get paid to be bossy and be in people's business. Right? And so, like, at some point, we have to make the narrative change. Even if people see us in a certain light, we just have to make sure that the light they see us in is not the real light that we actually live in. As black women, black men, and whatever your race is.
Yeah.
So I think that what we're talking about, and I do think that we've seen some shifts also with the black woman. But I do think, as we talk about colorism, also, we have to get into the colorism that exists within the dynamic of black women as well. there still is a lot of bias, discrimination, and judgment that happens woman to woman. Let's get into that.
Wow.
That woman to woman, there is still a lot of discrimination about how you look at certain people based on their skin color, what you think their looks are like, what their body shape is like. A lot of women still participate in those childish type of colorism, body shaming type of deals. Like I see that not just in media, I see that in real life where people are like, y'all ever heard this? She cute in the face. She cute in the face. She cute in the face mean that she probably overweight. Right? Like that's what people say. Right? Or she has a nice personality. That means they think she's ugly. Right? So some of these terms, Black women or women in general continue to perpetuate as well. That we must also change the narrative on how we see women. You have to be able not just to look in the mirror and know that you look like something, but you also have to be able to look at other women and see their qualities. Because if not, you will pass down colorism, bodyism, body shaming. You will pass that down to another generation. Yes. Thank you, Helen, for that. It's ignorance. It's ignorance. If you don't see the beauty in somebody, just shut up. That's it. If you don't see the qualities that makes that person beautiful, it's not your business.
People, I don't know, people make statements as if we made our own body type or they made their own body type. They made their own color.
To be lighter or darker.
Yeah, they made that decision. The Bible tells us that, God created, I am beautifully and wonderfully made.
That's it. That's what it says. Yes, that's what it says. Right. And so you're saying that's something that God made.
Something that God made. And so
it's not attractive or beautiful.
So they criticizing something that God made. The audacity of people. But this is the poison that we've been given to judge people and to reason of why I should have and why you shouldn't.
Yeah. I mean, look, quick story on this. Pastor, me and you had like a real whirlwind of dating and all, right?
Sure.
And so people's perspective about if me and Pastor Will was right for each other was based on looks in the beginning, y'all. People literally looked at us to say if they thought that, I was right for him or he was right for me based on how we looked. Right? And so like you're making opinions about something that has lasted for 22 years. I'm happily married. You're making opinions about something that you really don't have there's no perspective about. Like it should not be based on these things. And I think that is it's everywhere. It's a church problem. I've seen it at church. Okay. I've seen it in homes, right? Like, my plea to my boys is not about I would be angry or upset if they marry a person of another race. I would not be. But my argument with my boys was about, look, your perspective has to come from something other than what's being fed to you. And I think that's all of our job in dating is to make sure that we're not following some movie or some fantasy to dictate how we think and how we see people.
And somebody said this to me, and this was out of hurt about me. They was like, boy, if you bring home a white woman, your grandma going to be mad at you, right? Because in Carolina, they were treated as less than by the white man, so it created a great resent in them for white people because of the way they were treated. And so So they had, very little respect for, anybody outside of the race. And so sometimes things are said because of age old hurt that you really didn't experience, but somebody put that opinion on you based on their own hurt. And now you're treated, or whoever is treating somebody, not from a reality of their experience, of their current experience, that nobody of a different color ever hurt them, did anything to them, or whatever. But just based on one person's, or
Person's
one
experience.
person's experience that was then handed down to you. So it's not really having a fair assessment of anybody. And you cannot, and it's wrong to really judge one person based off a whole race. I mean,
Well, Pastor Will, let me play the other side of this a little bit.
yeah.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
just
this is
be,
what
I'm gonna
this is
just
what we
be,
need. We need all
yeah, I'm
sides.
just be honest with how I feel. I have two Black sons, and I just want to be really straight up about it. Like, I have two Black sons who, look like men right now. Like, they both look like men. And I worry about what their experience is when they leave my house. They will start driving soon. I'm worried about what will happen when they get behind the wheel of a car. But I am particularly worried if they date a white girl.
Yeah.
And that's not about colorism. It's not about slavery. It's about what has happened to Black men that have been in that situation. Like, I've seen that play out many times where the person's family, makes them cry rape, or something happens in that dynamic sometimes. And I worry about that. Like, is my worry founded or unfounded?
No, I think the worry is real. The worry is real. Um, because we just don't know who the we don't know who family that they're going to be involved with. And I mean, we have friends that have married, not even another, just people of a fair skin, and we know some of their experience when they tell us what some of their experience are, or the looks that they get.
Yeah, when they go
Yeah, and
out
I
to
absolutely, I
restaurants or
feel that for
whatever.
my sons, that
Yeah.
I want them always to be seen as equals and not as less than.
Yeah. And I don't want them to get in a situation where there are judgments made about them because of that dynamic. So
And
I
you should,
do think is some
yeah,
amount of wisdom that we have to use, knowing how the world is still set up.
absolutely,
Like, I can't change that part of the world. I
yeah,
wish I could,
can't change it.
but you can't change it. So I do think there is some caution. I
There
think.
is some caution, but I was just saying, but based on grandma's experience
No,
and
no, I
her,
get that part, but I'm
okay,
just adding another perspective to it.
yeah,
That I think there is some caution
yeah,
when you're a Black man. They
it's
need to
not
be
as and
protected. My goodness.
it's never simple. It's always a complex.
Complex. Yes.
There's always complexities, especially when we talk about race and
And
yeah,
relationships.
and
Yeah.
relationship. Yeah,
Yeah. So I just wanted to add that point in there. But one of the things that I just wrote in the comment section that I would love to hear some feedback on is, how can we start to change the narrative within ourselves? How can we make sure that we don't have isms that is going on within us? Also, if you have any questions tonight, or you want to get any part of a conversation going, go ahead and write that there. But how can we change the narrative within ourselves to stop the isms?
yeah. But also, Yvette wrote, it seems like men her age, and going back into our beginning, into our intro, she said it seems like men her age wants to be entrepreneurs and
Oh
not
yeah, let's get
career
into that. I
focused.
missed that. Sorry.
And I would dare to say, probably even most men your age probably does not have the right male mentor. And so I don't even think they want to be to be an entrepreneurship takes work.
Hard work. Hard
They
work.
just want to sell something and make money. That's not entrepreneurship. That's something else.
Yeah.
That's hustling. Entrepreneurship is setting up, establishing a business, making the business sellable
Yeah,
at the end of the
profitable.
day, profitable at the end of the
Profitable.
day, and
Yes.
moving on to another venture. That's
Yes.
entrepreneurship.
Absolutely. And so I do think that that's another thing is, when we start to talk about colorism too, because you got into it a little bit past, well, a lot of it about these other ideas too about, I mean, people can also help there where they grew up at. So let me throw that out there for a minute. Like, I mean, you like, yeah, you see like this person, that person chose this person, that person because they all went to Ivy League school. But look, some of us ain't go to Ivy League school. So
Hey,
that means like do we have less of a chance? Like I'm just like trying to figure it out for some of the single people. Is it
not
like I'm trying to figure it out? Like, what's the standard if you don't have that same power dynamic, status dynamic? If you don't have that same, education dynamic within, then what do people do? Cause we talking about dating. Like I know you saying like they need to get ambitious, they need to get it together. I mean, I agree with all of that. I am 100% on that. But I'm also like, people also grew up with different dynamics. So not everybody's gonna be educated. Not everybody's gonna have the same
absolutely,
opportunity to do college or, things like that.
absolutely. But I think if you date, you know, well, and most likelihood you will date. You have to be realistic with who you're dating and the perspective. Both parties have to be. So if they went to school and you didn't, you have to be realistic about they have they have this goal that they're going after, and you going after yours differently,
Yeah.
and it's going to be different. It's going to look different. I remember I dated a young lady, and we were dating, and she looked in my back seat, and she saw my computer books, and she just wanted. She was like, "Oh no, you gonna be too smart for me."
What?
Oh yeah,
That's
yeah,
what she told you?
yeah. That's what she told me. She al- she knew that we did not meet. We weren't going the same direction.
Wow. I mean, that sounds wild, but I guess like she just knew that her type. Look at Cavante cracking up, y'all. I don't know what.
The school books in the back seat intimidated her.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying now.
It wasn't no awe. I was like, I mean, at the end of the day, it's like, thank God.
Ooh, hallelujah. You said she was honest. Go ahead. They said the men laughing and the women like, wow, she was honest though. You know
She was honest.
that.
She was honest, and so and so yeah, and it was good. It turned out to be a good decision.
But I do think this though, Pastor Will. I think it's important as we talk about colorism, discrimination, bias. I think it's important to really come to a point where we see and recognize that it has nothing really to do with people's skin color,
No, nothing at all.
even your body type. It's nothing to do with oh Gavante. So she had a revelation. It's really nothing to do with any of those things in reality. Your ability to be in relationship with somebody really is about their heart, their character, and your ability to work through whatever happens in life, whether it's successes or failures. I think that's
Yeah.
important. Yes, it's a learned behavior, Helen. I absolutely agree with that.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah,
It's a learned behavior.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. She wanted the right on the block, not Willie in the books. Go ahead, Yvette. Make it plain for us today, child.
And you absolutely right, Yvette.
Yeah, yeah. So I think what some of our takeaways tonight is a lot of these, yes, I agree with Helen, are learned behaviors, but also changing the narrative really starts with us and making sure that we see people the way we should see them. We don't see light or dark as whatever. Like this is better than this. Light skinned people are better than dark skinned people. People that skinny better than fat people. I mean, it's like y'all.
We don't see our kids Oh, you make good kids. Oh
That
yeah.
is
Oh,
what some parents,
act like you never heard that silliness
we
before.
heard it before. Oh, y'all make good kids. Y'all make pretty babies together. Y'all please stop this stuff. STOP, stop. And so a lot of this colorism and stuff, we have to, all of our biases and discrimination, we got to get on top of that,
Yeah,
everybody.
for sure.
Because you really, your lens of color, body shape, body type, this type and that type could put you in a situation with somebody who you never wanted to be married to in the first place. Could put you in a situation where you married for preference when you should have been marrying with some common sense and wisdom.
Yeah.
So that's what we're saying today. Watch your personal preference and also add some common sense in.
Amen.
That's tonight. Thank God's way.
Right. Amen. Thank you for joining us,
Yeah,
everyone.
colorism.
Colorism.
Guys, discrimination, personal preference, all of it. No, you should not want to bring home Beyonce either. Because ain't nobody gonna look just like Beyonce. Beyonce got curves and faces. She was
Beyonce
made for
belong
some of them curves.
Beyonce
I'm,
be
I'm, I'm convinced.
Beyonce belongs to Jay-Z. You can't bring Beyonce home. She belongs to Jay-Z.
Yeah, she got yeah, anyway, never mind. We ain't talking about Beyonce. Good night, y'all. Thank God's way. Blessings on blessings. Thanks for joining tonight for an interesting dating God's way. Colorism
Very
and dating.
interesting. Colorism and dating.
Yes, yes, yes. Hit us up next week for Dating God's Way and give us some topics that you guys want to discuss. I know we
Yeah.
want to talk about family chatter, how family
Thank
dynamics
you,
get
Helen.
into dating.
I thought
How
we talked
family
about that.
dynamic? No, we have not. And everybody's shaking their head like, right. Family, how family dynamics get into dating. Go ahead and get that started. Our graphic designer is in the room. I'm asking, go and get it started. Microaggressions. Okay. In dating. I love that one. Oh, y'all know. I'm pulling out my HR, my counseling. I'm pulling out everything on that one. Microaggressions in dating. I love that. Great. Excellent. Okay. Any other topics? Just pour them on to us. And we will see you guys later on Dating God's Way.
All right. Bye-bye.